understand your 4 pillars, optimize them, getting at the best foot forward, right? It's all about the prep and the optimization, guys. This is one of the most key elements that I can see and that can teach you. And going back tonight is know the rules of every single bank. I know it might be daunting and so much information to regurgitate and going from there, but create your funding plan, know the rules, and be able to execute based upon your strengths. And as we all know, building credit is a journey. It's not an event, right? The more time that we have to work towards our credit profile, the stronger it is. Sometimes we can go on sprints, but we're in here for the marathon, right? So again, coming back to some of the foundations over here, the perfect credit formula is what I love teaching on majority of all of my clients. Again, there's 4 different types of an account. This is how you can get to an 800 credit score. And there's a reason why I'm explaining this right now, and I'll get to that here very shortly. But, there's 4 different types of accounts. You have your mortgage, revolving, installment, auto loans, having that mixture of credits. Again, the age of accounts has a big factor as well. So the longer of establishments, the better, the higher the score is going to go up. So a recent element from actual FICO themselves, they can see a graph of having the number of months of your revolving accounts open and how it affects the risk factor of how a bank's going to look at you. So you only have, a few accounts and it's less than 2 years. You can see it. They're taking a bigger risk on lending you money. So the longer of attachment, you can see after the 120 months, you're at a low stage there. So remember the beginning sequence, what I told you, build up your personal credit, move the inquiries, and then build business credit. Once you've let your personal credit rest, then you can go and double dip on the business side, on the personal, and then go back to business. You're always going personal, business. You never stop, right? This is something that you never want to stop on. You're just playing a bigger game every single time. Biggest factor here is your credit utilization, no more than 30%, right? You have a $10,000 limit, no more than $3,000 balance. Payment history is one of the biggest factors of your scores fluctuating. Avoid lates, collection, charge-offs. Stay on for 7 to 10 years. Inquiries, no more than 6 per 6 months. But if you're in a funding stage, you definitely can't have more than 4, right? Some banks have a little more flexibility, but 4 is kind of the magic number of max. 4 or 5. It may hurt your credit. Yes, absolutely. I just went for a $100,000 business credit card with Chase, and I applied with 2 of my company. I have 3 corps altogether. I applied for $100,000 for one and $50,000 for another. And unfortunately, the banker made the mistake in the very beginning of applying for the wrong card. And we caught that within the first 10, 15 minutes, but the DocuSign still went through. So I got my first inquiry, all right, minus 2 points. 2-3 days later, another inquiry popped up, both on Experian and TransUnion. My score dropped 8 points, additional 8 points from that, so total 10. And then about 2-3 weeks later, the third one went through, and another 8 points got dropped. So I lost a total of about 16, 18 points from those 3 inquiries from Chase. And of course, we're going to be able to remove them. But again, just to tell you that they can have an impact, especially in a shorter period of time. So the number of inquiries, right? If you do have a thicker file, meaning you have trade lines, they've been established, they don't have as much of an impact as if you have a thin file, which is, let's just say, oops, what just happened there? Bad fingers, huh? So the number of inquiries, you can see a thin file versus a thick on the difference in how that correlates together. So again, no more, you should have a minimum about 3 to 5 revolving accounts. Of course, the higher the limit you have, the more capital or approvals you're going to be able to get. So typically a range anywhere from 3 to 7,000. If you're at a 5,000, the highest limit, 20,000 highest limit is going to be 18 to 25. And again, the story that we can always fluctuate and do this. I'm going to show you an example of that later on. Your installment unsecured, right? 1 to 2 installment loans, right? This is your cash loans that you're able to deposit into your bank account. Why does that have so much more of a higher impact on your score? Because you're handling a higher risk amount of capital. So having your unsecured family, which is honestly very important if you're playing the unsecured game with business credit, versus your secured family of your autos and your mortgages, right? You don't pay for your house or your car, they repo it, they foreclose it. But with unsecured, the worst they can do is what? Put it on your credit report and ruin it. They can't come after you majority of the time, right? Unless you get sued. So the age of your accounts makes a huge difference, right? Everything in finance is a law too. 2 years of history, 2 years of tax returns, 2 minimum trade lines, 2, right? And it follows you in so many different ways. You always want to know 2 years ahead of what you want to do with your strategies. You know, I brought this one back. I thought it was important because a lot of new people in the crowd. Not all credit is, you know, makes it better, right? Essentially you want to stay away from, of course, the credit ones, the Indigos, Premier First, even some of the fintech ones. And again, the whole theory behind this is that what type of person, character are you, right? If I'm going for a $500,000 business loan, and the underwriter is going to be looking at my personal credit and looking at the character, what kind of person I am. If I have a whole bunch of, Gap, credit ones, right? It doesn't really show that I'm actually a very strong borrower, right? But if I have the Wells Fargo's, the Bank of America's, and the Chases, tier 1, and then tier 2, so I would try to stay in a tier 1 and tier 2 family as much as possible. Right? It's okay to have some credit unions in there.
Guys, your credit resume is everything. Your credit profile is everything. Is that right, Anthony?
100%.
I need you guys to humanize credit. Date them before you marry them, but I need you to look at your credit resume like your sex life. How many skanks do you really want to be with? Okay. Credit One's a skank. Indigo's a skank. How many skanks do you really want to be with? Do you want STDs? You want AIDS? You want herpes? That's what you guys are doing with your credit profile when you're focused on the wrong shit. Focus on quality. Focus on building out a proper profile. Focus on getting high limits, right? Focus on that. You don't want credit chlamydia. That's right, Louis. You don't want credit chlamydia. Okay, so stay away from these fintechs and these things that don't add real value to your profile. I'm being funny here just because I'm trying to bring a little humor in here to lighten up the mode or the mood. But guys, that's really what it's about. Building out high-level accounts with high limits is called comparable credit. Your credit profile is your resume. Your score is your reputation. Write that down. Score is your reputation. Credit profile is your resume. Okay? That is it. This is simple. Credit is simple. You have to protect your credit profile at all costs. I don't care what these people tell you. There's no PG bullshit. It's not real. Okay? You need to protect your credit at all costs because you will be using your credit to co-sign on behalf of your business. The IRS looks at your business as its own entity. You are an entity. Your business is an entity. You are controlling the entity of your business, right? Own nothing, control everything. Okay? So in this situation, you want to be taking your time, building it out right. What you don't know will cost you. Ignorance will cost you. How expensive is ignorance? What you don't know costs you a lot of money. That's why you guys are in the room. That's why the best thing you can ever invest in yourself is good soil. Not bad soil, good soil. Listen, bro, if I plant an apple tree in Antarctica, it's not good soil. It's not going to grow.
Right.
Right. But if I plant an apple tree in the fields of Ohio, notice I didn't say Michigan, in the fields of Ohio, then it's going to grow better than it's going to grow in Michigan. Okay? So the bottom line is you need to be investing in groups, in people, in programs, or experiences or live events that's going to take you to the next level. Things that people can never take from you. Once you earn and learn something, nobody can take that information from you. You can go bankrupt, you can start a business because you are a collection of your decisions, your thoughts, your habits, right? You are where you're at because of your decisions, both good and bad. So understand that ignorance isn't an excuse, and ignorance will cost you more. How do you want to pay for it? Do you want to pay for it time? Do you want to pay for mistakes, heartache, pain? Which way do you want to pay? Which credit card? Ignorance? Or do you want to pay to play and get ahead of the game? Accelerate time. Crunch in the time gap, right? So really look at, like I said, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to really humanize business, right? People are people. It's not numbers on a screen. These are people. These are people watching your YouTube videos. These are people watching your content. These are people, engaging with your videos when they got a lot of things going on. Treat them right.